I want to talk today about a command called explode, and this command is definitely going to be very efficient when you are trying to create a layer for different elements, and then you have elements that are basically grouped together or stuck together. So how to do that explode command? Whenever that you have something like this, okay, so we have the table and we have the chairs and we want to separate, we want to place the table on a different layer than the chair. How to do this is that we're going to go use a command here called explode. It lives under the erase. Okay, so this is the erase command in the modify panel. And this is the explode command. You can also reach the explode command by typing here in the command line. I'm just going to type explode, enter. And this is going to ask you to start selecting the objects that you want to explode. Mainly, whenever that you have group of objects together like that, we call them a block. We're going to talk about blocks in exercise 5, so I don't want to, and we're also going to be talking about them in assignment 2, part 1. So, but mainly we use explode to explode blocks, which are a group of elements that are becoming one entity. So I'm just going to select those objects here. And once I select them, it's going to say, do you want to explode selected objects? I'm going to click enter on my keyboard. Now, if I want to see, okay, now I have all of those elements ungrouped or unblocked or exploded, so I can select them separately. So I know that maybe some of you want to group the seating or group the chairs together. I wouldn't recommend actually to do that, but if you want to, you can. I might put them all on one iFurniture layer, but some of you said that you wanted to experiment with adding the seating, which might be the chairs together on the iSeating or iFurniture seating layer. So to do that, this is how to do it. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a layer for seating right now, and then I'm going to place all of those elements together. Let's say, for example, after we exploded using the explode command, which lives here, I want to group those together. Okay, I want to group those elements together, or but I don't want them to become one entity. We can also do that using a group command. So we have something called group, which is different than block. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to type group and enter. And you can select objects, or you can put them under names. So I'm going to select them without names, actually. So I'm just going to click here and select those. Okay, I'm going to keep selecting those. Okay, and I'm going to select this as well. Now, one of the questions that I got today is, what if I selected something accidentally? So for example, I selected this line with the group that I want to group together. What should I do? Now, if I want to deselect this line, all I have to do is I'm going to click Shift on my keyboard, okay, to deselect the line. So I clicked on Shift, and I hold Shift on my keyboard and select the line that I don't want it to be grouped with the rest of my elements. Okay, so clicking Shift and then clicking on the element that is not desired to be grouped with your other elements will deselect it from the selection. And I'm going to click on those and click on this line too. Some other small lines might escape from you, so make sure that you are aware of that. Okay, those small segments, because I missed one here. All right. And okay, so those are all of them. And then I'm going to group those together as well, like this. And then after that, I selected the object. I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard. Now, those objects, like you can see, okay, you can basically hover over them and you can select them without the table. All right, so what we grouped are actually the chairs. Now let's put those chairs on the iSeating area, or iSeat I think it's iFurniture seat. And I'm going to take a look at the properties of this layer. So I don't know if you can see my screen or not. I hope that you can see my screen, but the properties of my layer, I'm just going to change the share so you can see, you can take a look at this and that as well. Okay, so I'm sharing both of them now. And this is the layer file. So I'm gonna take a look at the iFurniture. I think it's located here. So we have the iFurniture with the green continuous at 0.25. This is anything furniture except below. So I'm just gonna take this. I know it's green and iFurn. So I'm gonna create one specifically for the furniture that is not the seating, and I'm gonna take the seating okay, in the furniture section. Some of you wanted to do this, which is fine. So I'm gonna take the iFurn seating. This is cyan, continuous 0.35. So let's create one here for the chairs. Okay, this is iFurn seat, and as we said, this is cyan, and it's continuous. It's 0.35, and clicking OK, and we're gonna make this the current layer, and then I'm gonna close that. Now I'm going to click on this group here, and you can see it's grouped. We can also ungroup this if we want to, and I'm gonna click here, and I'm gonna assign this to the iFurniture seating. I can keep adding to this layer. So for example, I can pick the seating here. I think I have another one, maybe somewhere else. Oh, no, it's just that one. And I'm going to also assign it to the iFurniture seat. All right, clicking escape. And if you want to do this to those chairs, you can definitely do that. So you can click on those if you want to mix them on the same layer or add them to the same layer. There you go. Okay, yes, we have this one here. All right, so we talked about, again, the explode command. So make sure that you understand that. I also noticed that some of you also had problems here with some of the lines. If this is the case, you can explode the lines. You can explode some of the lines that do not want. So for example, if you want to assign this into the Windows layer, I think it's iGlaze, and you're unable to, you can go to explode command and explode some of the lines. So because here, maybe you want to close the, you can see that this line here, if I go and I try to group it with the walls command, with the walls on the walls layer, it's not going to be. So it will need to be exploded because right now it's part of the window. Okay, so explode works very easily. All you have to do is just type explode, enter, explode, and select the object. Here, for example, I'm gonna explode this one, or I think I'm gonna explode this. Okay, and once you enter, all of the elements of this object are going to be separated from each other. So it's a good way to practice explode command because you will need it in some areas here. I know that some students ask me about how to separate some elements to be able to group them on their own layer or to add them into their respective layer. So make sure to practice it and let me know if you had any problem with it.